Why do most men stay weak, powerless, and forgotten? Because they chase big victories and ignore the small battles that truly decide their fate. The problem is not that you lack ambition. The problem is that you lack strategy. Today, you'll discover how to rise above the masses by mastering the ruthless art of improving yourself 1% every single day. Power does not belong to the dreamers who wait for fortune's mercy, nor to the weak who crave transformation in one dramatic leap. Power belongs to the disciplined man who understands that greatness is built not in a single conquest, but in the slow accumulation of silent victories. A kingdom is not erected in one day, nor does a soldier become invincible through one battle. The truth is far more brutal. Progress, authority, and strength are won by the man who chooses to sharpen himself by the smallest margin, relentlessly, every single day. This is the law of small gains, the ruthless truth that most men are too impatient, too undisciplined, and too distracted to accept. Most men seek instant success because they are addicted to recognition. They want the applause before they've earned the weapon. They want the crown before they've learned to wield the blade. Yet, the man who seeks only large victories collapses because he neglects the small foundations that sustain them. If you attempt to leap forward without the discipline of steady growth, you will crumble at the first resistance. The strategist knows that fortune smiles not on those who chase her desperately, but on those who build themselves into something fortune cannot ignore. The man who adds 1% to his strength daily is the one who conquers the impatient, the reckless, and the arrogant. Imagine two men who set out to change their lives. One fills his mind with grand visions of immediate transformation, promising himself that tomorrow he will revolutionize his habits, his work, his body, his fortune. He attempts everything at once, and within days he collapses, drowning under the weight of his own expectations. The second man takes a different path. He does not rush, nor does he dream of instant crowns. Instead, he focuses on the smallest, most precise improvements. He sharpens his mind with one new insight, strengthens his body with one new repetition, elevates his discipline with one small refusal of weakness. His progress seems invisible at first, unnoticed even by himself. But time is his ally, and consistency is his weapon. After 1 year, he is no longer the same man. He has sharpened himself 365 times, each day leaving behind the weaker version of who he once was. And while the impatient man has already collapsed, the disciplined one now towers above him, built by the silent compounding of his small victories. This is the ruthless truth of small gains. The man who controls the smallest increments of his improvement will one day dominate the largest arenas of life. The key lies not in waiting for grand opportunities, but in creating daily advantage. Small gains are not random. They are deliberate steps in a strategy that multiplies your power silently, while others waste their lives in pursuit of illusions. Each day, you must ask yourself, where will I carve 1% more strength? Where will I sharpen myself to become untouchable tomorrow? The man who fails to ask this question lives at the mercy of stronger players, while the man who asks it commands the board itself. Understand that small gains are not glamorous. They are quiet, often invisible. No one applauds you for resisting a single distraction, for reading a single page, for refining a single skill. But the absence of applause is what makes them so powerful. Your rivals will ignore them. They will not notice your steady ascent until you have already risen beyond their grasp. Small gains are your secret weapon, the strategy that turns you into a force that cannot be defeated. Because you are not waiting for victory in one battle. You are accumulating advantage across all battles, every single day. Do not be deceived by the illusion of rapid transformation. A man who rises too quickly often falls just as fast. His foundation is weak, his discipline shallow, his strength untested. But a man who improves slowly, deliberately, by fractions that seem meaningless in the moment, builds an empire that cannot be toppled. He becomes unshakable, not because he pursued greatness once, but because he pursued it every day in increments so small that others dismissed them as nothing. The truth is this: the small gain is everything. It is the hidden strategy of those who understand power, not as a gift, as a relentless conquest against weakness. The difference between a man who commands his destiny and one who is enslaved by it lies in a single truth: strategy defeats impulse. Most men move through life as though they are leaves carried by the wind. They wake when chance allows, they act when desire strikes, and they quit when resistance appears. Their days are ruled not by order, but by chaos, and in that chaos, they are consumed by stronger players who have mastered the discipline of deliberate action. Improvement by 1% every day cannot exist without structure, because without a clear strategy, each day dissolves into the same unproductive cycle of wasted potential. A man without strategy is vulnerable. He may desire success, but desire without a plan is nothing but weakness disguised as ambition. He tells himself that he will improve when he feels ready, when motivation appears, when fortune gives him the right opportunity. But fortune does not favor the man who waits. It favors the man who takes control of the battlefield, and the battlefield is not some distant war, it is each day. To win tomorrow, you must conquer today. To conquer today, you must enter it with order, not with the fragile hope that your impulses will guide you to victory. The strategist begins the day already armed. He knows where his attention will go, what weakness he will confront, what small victory he will secure. His hours are not dictated by the distractions of the world, but by the plan he has already set. This is why he grows stronger while others decay. The undisciplined man allows his morning to be stolen by trivialities, his focus scattered by meaningless noise, his energy drained by endless distractions. The disciplined man defends his morning like a fortress, placing his first hours under the command of strategy. By doing so, he seizes momentum before others have even opened their eyes. You cannot rely on desire, because desire shifts like the wind. One day you will feel strong, the next you will feel nothing. If your progress depends on moods, your progress will die the moment your emotions turn against you. But strategy is not concerned with feelings. It commands action regardless of emotion. When a soldier marches into battle, he does not wait to feel brave before raising his sword. He acts according to the plan, and courage follows the discipline of movement. In the same way, your improvement is not about feeling ready. It is about obeying the daily strategy that you have written. Whether or not you feel the desire to execute it, the 1% gain each day demands clarity. You must know what, when, and how you will improve before the day begins. Without this clarity, you will surrender your hours to others. The world is filled with forces eager to claim your time. Distractions, obligations, temptations, demands from people who do not care about your strength. If you do not enter the day with a defined plan, you will spend it serving someone else's. Those who fail to set their strategy become pawns on a board controlled by others. Those who do set their strategy rise to become players who move the pawns. Strategy also demands precision. A vague plan is as dangerous as no plan at all. To say, "I will improve today," means nothing unless you define how. Will you sharpen your mind by reading? Will you strengthen your body through discipline? Will you refine a skill that advances your power? The strategist does not leave these questions unanswered. He chooses with clarity and commits with force. That choice, however small, gives shape to the day, and once the day has shape, it cannot dissolve into chaos. Understand that chaos is the natural state of the undisciplined. If you do not fight against it with a deliberate plan, it will consume you. It will steal your energy in fragments. One wasted hour here, one indulgence there, until the day is gone, leaving you weaker than before. This is why most men spend years of their lives chasing ambition, yet achieve nothing. They mistake chaotic desire for discipline, and in the process, they trade away their strength to forces stronger than themselves. The strategist, however, recognizes that each day is a miniature battlefield. He does not need to win all wars at once. He only needs to secure one small victory that compounds over time. He refuses to be distracted by the false promise of dramatic transformation. He knows that a man who gains 1% daily becomes unstoppable because his strategy is relentless. His rivals burn themselves out chasing sudden victories, while he advances one steady step at a time, each day reinforcing his position. This is why daily strategy is superior to chaotic desire. Desire may give you a spark, but it dies quickly when the winds of fortune change. Strategy creates fire that endures through every storm. It is not a matter of waiting for the right mood or the perfect time. It is about building the structure that ensures progress regardless of external conditions. Each day conquered by strategy becomes a stone in the fortress of your strength, while each day wasted in chaos becomes another crack in the foundation of your life. Every man carries weaknesses within him. Flaws of character, failures of discipline, shadows that he hides even from himself. The common man runs from these flaws, disguises them, or pretends they do not exist. He sees weakness as shame, as something to be buried in silence, and in doing so he becomes a prisoner of the very chains he refuses to confront. But the strategist understands a different truth. Weakness is not a curse, it is raw material. It is clay waiting to be molded into a weapon. What others see as a liability can be forged into silent strength if refined with daily discipline. The world is merciless to those who expose their weakness unguarded. It rewards the strong and devours the fragile. This is why most men, fearing judgment, choose to conceal their flaws. But what is concealed rots. A weakness ignored grows sharper against you until it destroys you from within. The only path is transformation. A man who studies his flaws like an enemy gains power over them. A man who trains against his weakness daily turns it into a weapon others will not anticipate. In this lies the true strategy of self-mastery, the ability to take what was once your greatest vulnerability and convert it into your greatest advantage. Consider the timid man afraid of speaking, afraid of standing firm. To the world he appears powerless, and indeed, his silence makes him invisible. But if this man were to confront his weakness directly, if he forced himself to sharpen his words each day, to strengthen his presence in small increments, then what once silenced him becomes his weapon. His timidity, refined through deliberate training, evolves into the calm confidence of a man who speaks rarely but with lethal precision. His words, once weak, now strike like a blade. The very flaw that once enslaved him becomes the source of his strength. The same truth applies to every form of weakness. The man plagued by laziness may use it as an excuse forever, or he may see it as a test of endurance. By demanding of himself a single disciplined act daily, he transforms indolence into consistency. The man who lacks physical strength can turn his frailty into motivation, forcing himself to grow harder, sharper, and more resilient than men who were born strong but grew complacent. The man who is betrayed may use his pain as fuel to see through deception, learning the art of reading others more keenly than those who have lived without scars. Weakness, when faced with strategy, becomes a tool for dominance. But such transformation is not given freely. It is earned in the silence of daily refinement. Turning weakness into a weapon is a slow and deliberate act. It requires the courage to look directly at your own deficiencies without flinching, to accept the uncomfortable truth that you are not yet who you could be. The masses prefer distraction over reflection because facing their flaws feels unbearable. Yet this very avoidance is why they remain powerless. The man who confronts himself, no matter how brutal the reflection, already stands apart from those who hide from their own shadows. Every weakness is a hidden opportunity. The man mocked for his poverty can sharpen his mind to create wealth with greater hunger than the one who was born into fortune. The man overlooked in youth can build patience, strategy, and cunning that eventually outmaneuver those who relied only on their natural advantages. Fortune is not equal, but strategy equalizes the field. By weaponizing weakness, you turn disadvantage into unpredictability. Rivals expect you to fall where you were once weak, but instead they find you armored, sharper, and more dangerous precisely because of the struggle you endured. The enemy outside is rarely more dangerous than the enemy within. If you do not confront your weaknesses, they will betray you when you need strength the most. Cowardice you never faced will surface when boldness is required. The indulgence you never conquered will enslave you when discipline is demanded. This is why strategy insists on turning inward first. To win against the world, you must first conquer yourself. And conquering yourself means not only amplifying your strengths, but refining your weaknesses into tools that serve you rather than destroy you. This process is not about perfection. No man is flawless, nor should he aim to be. A flawless man is predictable, rigid, fragile in his pursuit of appearing untouchable. A strategic man embraces imperfection, bends it, and wields it. He knows that his scars are not stains, markings of power. He does not erase them. He shapes them into symbols of control. Each day, by improving even slightly, he makes his weakness less of a chain and more of a blade. What was once a crack in his armor becomes a hidden dagger, and those who underestimate him for his past flaws are struck by weapons they never saw coming. Discipline is the architect of transformation, the force that decides whether a man remains ordinary or becomes untouchable. It is the silent power that grows while others waste themselves in indulgence. The truth of discipline is that its strength does not reveal itself immediately. A single act of restraint, a single choice of focus, a single hour of labor may appear insignificant when viewed in isolation. But when repeated daily, when stacked upon itself without interruption, it becomes compounding force. The man who improves 1% every day through disciplined action is not chasing progress. He is constructing momentum so powerful that eventually no rival can resist it. The masses hate discipline because it does not flatter their desires. It asks them to suffer small discomforts, to sacrifice fleeting pleasures, to resist the temptations that dominate their weaker nature. They want the glory without the grind, the respect without the repetition, the crown without the scars. This is why most men remain trapped in mediocrity. They cannot see beyond the pain of the present moment to grasp the empire discipline quietly builds in the background. They abandon the process because the reward is not immediate, and in doing so, they chain themselves to weakness. The disciplined man knows a different truth. He understands that time, when coupled with discipline, is the most lethal weapon of all. Each day he sharpens himself by fractions, and though those fractions seem invisible to the world, they accumulate with brutal certainty. The rivals who laughed at his small efforts in the beginning are silenced when he towers over them years later. What they thought was weakness, his patient repetition, his quiet routine, was in fact the strategy of compounding power. Like drops of water that cut through stone, daily discipline shapes a man into something indestructible. Think of the soldier who trains relentlessly, even when no war is in sight. To the careless, his effort appears wasted. But when the battle arrives, his body, hardened by thousands of unseen drills, outlasts and outperforms those who relied on natural strength alone. The soldier is proof of the law of compounding discipline. Repetition does not weaken, it fortifies. Every act of control sharpens resolve. Every refusal of weakness adds another layer of armor. Every disciplined moment is an investment that grows in silence until its power becomes undeniable. Compounding discipline also eliminates the illusion of chance. The undisciplined man lives at the mercy of luck, hoping fortune will deliver him opportunity, hoping his natural ability will be enough when tested. But luck is fragile, and natural ability without refinement withers quickly. The disciplined man does not gamble on chance, he manufactures inevitability. By adding 1% each day, he creates momentum so relentless that success is no longer a possibility, but a certainty. This is not superstition. It is mathematics of power. A fraction compounded daily multiplies until it becomes unchallengeable strength. What makes this force terrifying to rivals is its invisibility. Discipline does not announce itself. It does not beg for recognition. It works in the dark, unseen by those who mock the disciplined man for his strict habits, his sacrifices, his refusal to waste hours. They see only the denial, never the construction. By the time the results of compounding discipline are visible, it is already too late to compete. The man who practiced silently now stands leagues ahead, his habits ingrained, his momentum unstoppable. His rivals, in panic, attempt to replicate his progress, but their inconsistency betrays them. They want in weeks what he has built in years, and thus they fall. Discipline also reshapes identity. At first, it feels external, as if a man forces himself into unnatural action. But repetition transforms it into instinct. The man who disciplines himself daily does not eventually need to command himself to act. He becomes the kind of man who acts without hesitation. His habits shape his character, and his character shapes his destiny. This is the ultimate reward of compounding discipline, not simply that you achieve more, but that you become someone who cannot live without progress. Discipline ceases to be effort and becomes nature. The compounding power of discipline is the enemy of weakness because it is relentless. Weakness thrives on inconsistency, on indulgence, on the illusion that one choice does not matter. But the disciplined man knows that each choice matters, each act compounds, each decision builds momentum in one direction or the other. You are either stacking strength daily or stacking decay. There is no neutrality. Every day obeyed by discipline strengthens the fortress. Every day surrendered to weakness cracks the walls. This is why the man who chooses 1% improvement daily, grounded in discipline, eventually rises beyond all comparison. His strength is not dramatic in the beginning, but it is inevitable in the end. He has built his foundation brick by brick, never missing a day, never betraying the strategy. And while others exhaust themselves chasing sudden victories, his compounding discipline continues to grow, silent but unstoppable, till he commands the field without resistance. Power is not seized in sudden bursts of glory, nor is it gifted by fortune's hand. It is carved slowly, strategically, through daily discipline and the relentless pursuit of small gains. The man who rules himself by order, who transforms his weaknesses into weapons, who commits to the compounding effect of 1% improvement each day, becomes untouchable. He does not chase power, he builds it. He does not beg for respect, he commands it. And while others collapse under the weight of their chaotic desires and fragile ambitions, he stands firm, sharpened by every day he refused to waste. In the end, victory belongs not to the man who dreams of greatness, but to the one who has the strategy to construct it piece by piece, until his strength is so undeniable that no rival can stand against him.